He was just a black single dad, walking home after a long day, carrying groceries and thoughts of homework and dinner. Life had taught him caution, to keep his head down, to move carefully in a world that judged him before it knew him. But tonight, fate had a different plan. Across the street, chaos was unfolding, a woman in distress, a crowd forming, a situation spiraling out of control. Without thinking, he stepped in. One act of courage would ripple through their lives, testing courage, trust, and the invisible barriers society placed between people. Could one man truly change the course of someone else's life, and his own? Marcus lived a life of quiet perseverance. Each morning, he woke before dawn, prepared breakfast for his young daughter, and walked the familiar streets toward his job at the hardware store. The city was busy, impatient, and often indifferent. He had learned to blend in, to move without drawing attention, and to accept that the world often judged him harshly. But he had learned resilience too, a strength born of constant vigilance and love for his daughter. Vanessa, on the other hand, ruled a world of boardrooms and skyscrapers. As a CEO, she was powerful, decisive, and used to people following her lead. Yet, beneath the polished exterior, she carried a quiet loneliness. She had mastered control over business, but not over the unpredictable nature of life itself. Tonight, she had a dinner planned, a blind date arranged by friends, but a nagging feeling told her this night would be different. As Marcus walked home, adjusting his backpack, he noticed the city around him, streetlights flickering, cars passing, the muffled chatter of neighbors. Life was predictable. Safe. Or so he thought. Then, near a bustling corner restaurant, he saw it, a man raising his voice at someone small and unprotected. The figure was Vanessa, clearly frightened, unable to retreat. For Marcus, the instinct to act was immediate. Years of experience navigating a world that often misunderstood him had taught him to notice danger, to step forward when others hesitated. He moved closer, unnoticed by the crowd, his heart racing. Across the street, Vanessa's eyes met his for the first time, a fleeting look of desperation and hope. He didn't yet know her name, her status, or the life she led. All he knew was that she needed help, and he could not walk away. Marcus stepped into the fray just as the tension reached a breaking point. The aggressor, frustrated by Vanessa's attempts to move away, turned toward Marcus. But Marcus stood firm, his posture calm but unyielding. "Back off," he said, his voice carrying more authority than he expected. The man hesitated, surprised by this unexpected intervention, giving Vanessa a chance to step back. The crowd murmured. Some whispered approvingly, others watched with suspicion. Marcus felt eyes on him, not admiration, but judgment, the kind he had grown accustomed to. For a moment, he wondered if stepping in was worth the risk, but seeing Vanessa's relieved expression erased doubt. He had done what felt right. Once the immediate threat was gone, Vanessa stammered her thanks. She was accustomed to people deferring to her power, yet here was someone who had acted without expectation or fear, purely out of principle. Her curiosity was piqued, his courage had made an impression. In the following days, their paths crossed unexpectedly. Vanessa, driven by a mix of gratitude and fascination, insisted on inviting Marcus for coffee. He was reluctant, aware of the social divide between them, wary of appearances, but agreed. Sitting across from her in a quiet cafe, Marcus felt the tension of two worlds colliding. She asked about his life, his daughter, his struggles. He answered honestly, cautiously revealing a side of himself the world rarely saw. As they talked, Vanessa realized the extent of the barriers Marcus faced daily. Subtle glances from strangers, whispered judgments, invisible obstacles placed by prejudice, she had never truly understood the weight of it. Meanwhile, Marcus saw her sincerity, her willingness to listen without judgment. Something in the room shifted, recognition, understanding, and mutual respect forming where neither had expected it. But the world outside remained harsh. A passerby made a derogatory comment about Marcus, reminding him that courage and good intentions did not erase bias. Vanessa's eyes widened in anger and disbelief, witnessing firsthand what he endured routinely. In that moment, the quiet cafe became a sanctuary of empathy amidst a world quick to judge. Their connection deepened over shared stories, laughter, and moments of quiet reflection. Yet, neither ignored the realities surrounding them. Marcus still faced prejudice, Vanessa still navigated a world of power and expectation. But together, they discovered something rare, a meeting of minds and hearts beyond societal labels. Weeks later, their bond was tested. A misunderstanding at a public event cast suspicion on Marcus. Whispers, stares, and judgmental glances filled the room, echoing the discrimination he had endured all his life. Vanessa stood by his side, her presence a shield, but the tension was palpable. Marcus felt every eye on him, each one ready to judge, accuse, or dismiss him. He could have retreated, walked away, let the fear consume him. But he didn't. He held his ground, drawing strength from the courage that had defined him for years. Vanessa confronted the crowd subtly, her voice calm but unwavering. She spoke of integrity, respect, and humanity. Slowly, the whispers faded. People noticed her conviction and, gradually, their assumptions began to unravel. In that moment, Marcus realized something profound. Courage was not just about confronting immediate danger, but also about enduring societal prejudice and standing tall in the face of invisible battles. Vanessa, too, understood that power alone could not foster change. Empathy, advocacy, and understanding were far more potent. The event ended not with applause, but with awareness. Eyes had opened, hearts had shifted, and a small but significant impact had been made, one act of courage rippling beyond the individuals involved. Marcus returned home that evening, exhausted but emboldened. His daughter ran to him, oblivious to the lessons of prejudice and courage that had defined his day. To her, he was simply a hero. And perhaps, in a way, that was enough. Vanessa reflected on what she had witnessed, a man judged before he was known, yet capable of extraordinary bravery and compassion. She realized that privilege did not guarantee understanding, and power did not replace empathy. True change required courage from all sides. Their lives intertwined, not through status or wealth, but through shared respect, understanding, and the recognition of each other's humanity. Marcus had saved a CEO from danger, yes, but he had also shown her and the world a truth too often ignored, that character, integrity, and courage transcend race, class, and expectation. The story left an undeniable question lingering for everyone who heard it: how often do we fail to see the humanity in someone because of prejudice? How many acts of courage go unnoticed, simply because society is quick to judge? For Marcus and Vanessa, life continued, not perfect, not without challenges, but forever changed by one act of bravery, one meeting of minds and hearts, and a shared understanding that courage and empathy can break barriers that prejudice tries to build.